All right, today we're going to talk about a project that's trying to tear down some of the biggest hidden walls in blockchain. It's called Cartesi, and honestly, it could change everything we think is possible in the decentralized world. And here's the thing. This isn't just a problem for one chain. Nope. It's a fundamental limit that hits every major player out there. We're talking Ethereum, Solana, you name it. And it's seriously holding back the entire Web3 ecosystem. Look, don't get me wrong, blockchains are amazing for certain things, but they are fundamentally constrained. Trying to develop on them, it feels a lot like trying to build a massive skyscraper, but you're stuck inside this tiny, sealed box. So what if we could just smash that box wide open? What if we could finally connect the super secure, decentralized world blockchain with, I don't know, the decades of powerful, real-world software that we already use every day? That's the big idea we're going to unpack.
Okay, so before we get to the solution, you really have to understand the problem. So let's take a closer look at this hidden wall that's been boxing in the crypto world. Right now, most blockchains are basically, well, they're computational deserts. They just can't handle the heavy lifting needed for really complex stuff like AI, advanced video game engines, or massive scientific simulations. I mean, trying to run that kind of thing on chain, it's not just slow, it's crazy expensive. And that puts a major cap on the kind of innovation we can actually see in Web3.
And this is exactly the problem Cartesi was designed to fix. We're not talking about just another small tweak here. This is supposed to be a radical bridge, connecting that decentralized blockchain world with a massive, powerful universe of software we already know. The core idea sounds so simple, but it's totally revolutionary. Let developers run a full Linux operating system on the blockchain. This is a huge deal. Why? Because suddenly, millions of developers can use the programming languages they've used for years, Python, C++, all the classics, and they can tap into decades of existing software libraries to build dApps. It just opens the door for so many more people. So how in the world do they pull this off? Well, it's actually a pretty clever division of labor. All the really intense, complex number crunching, that happens off-chain, inside a normal Linux environment. Then the results get neatly bundled up and sent back to the main blockchain for that final, super secure verification. You really get the best of both worlds, massive computing power off-chain with the rock-solid security of the blockchain. The magic behind this is something called the Cartesi machine. Think of it like a universal translator and a supercomputer all rolled into one. It's what runs that full Linux OS, and it can perform calculations that are just light years beyond what a normal smart contract could even dream of doing. And the best part? It does it all in a way the blockchain can actually trust and verify. Okay, so we get how it works, more or less. Now for the really fun part. What does this actually let us do? By breaking through that computational bottleneck, Cartesi could unlock entirely new worlds for Web3. And I mean, this isn't just about making things a little bit faster. We're talking about a potential paradigm shift. Just imagine, decentralized AI models, real, complex video games running on chain, the ability to just take a complex Web2 app and bring it straight over to Web3. Yeah, this isn't just an evolution, it's a revolution. And it could be the thing that finally brings millions of new developers into this space. Of course, any powerful ecosystem like this needs two things: fuel to make it run and a way to keep it all secure. For Cartesi, that all comes down to its native token, CTSI. And I think this quote just nails it. CTSI isn't the product you're buying, it's the fuel for the whole infrastructure. It's what makes the engine go. The utility of CTSI is actually pretty diverse. It's used for staking to help secure the network. It's used to pay the nodes that are doing all that heavy lifting off-chain. And it gives the community a real say in where the protocol goes next. It's basically the economic engine that keeps the whole system humming. But look, powerful technology is only half the battle, right? To get the full picture, we have to be realistic and look at the major hurdles Cartesi has to jump over if it wants to get anywhere near widespread adoption. First off, this tech is, well, it's really complex, and it's jumping into a very crowded pool of Layer 2 scaling solutions. But you know what the biggest challenge is? The one thing that will absolutely make or break Cartesi? It's getting developers to actually use it. Because in the world of platforms, if you don't have developers, you have nothing. This chart really shows you what makes Cartesi's strategies so different. You see, most other Layer 2s are just trying to build a faster highway for the cars we already have. Cartesi is over here trying to invent the airplane. It's not just about more transactions per second. It's about fundamentally changing what's possible to build on a blockchain in the first place.
So when you weigh this amazing technology against these really big challenges, what does the future actually hold for a project like Cartesi? Let's game out 3 possible scenarios.
All right, the future here could go a few different ways. Best case scenario, Cartesi becomes the go-to standard for any complex dApp, and it kicks off this whole new wave of Web3 innovation. A more neutral outcome, it finds its place as a really powerful but very specialized tool for certain niche uses. And the worst case? Well, if it just can't get those developers on board, it could end up as a really cool idea that becomes a forgotten piece of tech history.
Because in the end, it all boils down to one simple truth, especially in crypto. Brilliant technology is never enough. The ultimate measure of success, the only one that really truly matters, is adoption.
And that leaves us with a pretty fundamental question about where the entire decentralized web is headed. Are blockchains going to stay as these relatively simple, specialized systems, or are they going to evolve into something way more complex and powerful, something that looks a lot more like the traditional software that powers our world right now? Honestly, the success or failure of ambitious projects just like Cartesi, well, that's what's going to give us the answer.